We are in Algebra 2. We have only one student. Hello, Teflon. Say hi. One-on-one. That means everyone else is watching the video today is 1/9. The notes, the blank notes, I forgot to hand them out yesterday. They are available online for everyone to print out and follow through, or follow the notes with us. So, simplifying radicals review. Okay, Teflon, you're doing all of these. So, I'll do the first one, actually. You can do the next three. Square root of 25. I can separate this into square root of -1 times the square root of 25. I know what each of these is. I separated it into pieces that I know. I know the square root of -1. Do you know that one too? Square root of -1 by definition, complex number is I. Yep. So this is going to turn into, this one turns into an I. Square root of 25 is 5. So this is really 5i. So we should be able to just look at the radical and say, oh, negative means I'm going to pop out an I, and then I have 25, which the square root of 25 is 5. You try the next one. Square root of -81. So you're going to do step by step. Okay, square root of -1 times square root of 81, which turns into 9i. Perfect. And you don't have to just do these steps if you can immediately skip here. This one is a little bit more challenging because it's not a perfect square on the inside. You want to take a shot at this one? 3i? Close. If it was a -9, it would be 3i. But I can't take the square root of 13. 13 is a prime number. But I can still pop out this -1. So let me do this one. Square root of -1 times square root of 13. Square root of 13, I can't do anything to him because he's not a perfect square. I just leave him square root of 13. But this one does change. So what is the final answer going to be? Square root of 13i. Or you can do it I times square root of 13. Either way works. There's our answer. And finally, what about square root of 36? Six, yeah. You don't always have an I. You only have an I whenever you have a negative. So just be careful for that one. I was trying to trick you, but you didn't get tricked. All right, so everything from today is based off of the quadratic formula. So assume you have a polynomial, a trinomial, where it's of the form ax squared plus bx plus c, and we're setting that equal to 0. We can solve for x by using the quadratic formula. Have I taught us the song? Do we remember the song? Have I never talked about the song? X is equal to, no. Okay, well, this is the first time I'm teaching it then. So this is the song, and it's x is equal to, and I'm going to do it not sing-songy right now. You can just copy this down with me. X is equal to -b, which means I take the coefficient of the x term and I make it negative. Then I'm going to do plus or minus. This is the equivalent of saying do plus first and then do everything, and then do minus second, and you'll get two answers, one with plus, one with minus. And then I'm going to say square root, and it's going to have a few terms in it. So it's -b plus or minus square root b squared, and then minus 4 times a times c. I'm just going to say minus 4ac. Every single thing in here is being divided by 2a. Normally I could say divided by 2a, divided by 2a. I'm just going to make the whole thing all over 2a. All over 2 times the quantity of a. Quadratic formula. There is a song that goes with it, and I'm going to sing it for you right now. So this is x is equal to -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Kind of sing-song you want to do it with me? Okay. Everyone should do it. Replay the video and sing it with me. All right, we're on to example 1. So we're going to use the quadratic formula, and you'll be able to see what is your a, b, and c. We'll just note that from the very beginning. So what is a, b, and c? Well, a is 2, b is all of this -6. Remember to keep the negative with it, and c is 3. So knowing what a, b, and c are, Teflon, you're going to sub it into our equation, our quadratic formula. So tell me what to write. It was, yeah, so it's a double negative, so it's a +6. +6, that's plus or minus, yep, plus or minus, there's two answers here. So square root of, and then 36. You're good so far? -3. So we're doing the -4ac part right now, right? So there's the 3, that's the c. Then a was 2, and we still need the 4 in there as well. And then that's all going to be over 2 times a. What is 2 times a? Careful. A is just 2, so.
Oh.
So it is, what is 2 times a? Yep. So it's all going to be over 4. Cool. And then we just need to simplify this. So I'll let you catch up. And everyone else who's watching the video with us is catching up too. All right, so I still have that term out front. I still have 6. This is going to be plus or minus. Now I need to do all of this. Let's try to get this all in one step. 4 times 2, go.
8.
Times 3. 24. And then I need to do 36 minus 24.
12.
12, yeah. So plus or minus square root of 12. And all of that is going to be over 4. Khan Academy doesn't usually leave it in this form. They actually break it into 2 different fractions, this being one fraction, this being the second fraction. So I'm going to do the same thing as well. It's just another way of doing the notation. So on the left-hand side, I have 6 over 4, but we can reduce that fraction. So 6 over 4 reduces to what? Yep, 3 halves. And then I still have plus or minus. And then square root of 12 actually does reduce a little bit because square root of 12, this guy right here, is square root of 3 times the square root of 4. One of these is a perfect square. Yeah, the square root of 4. So the square root of 4 turns into a 2, which is now 2 square root of 3. So if I have 2 square root of 3 over 4, I can get rid of the 2 and the 4. I can divide the top and bottom by 2, right? If I divide the top and bottom by 2, that 2 goes away. This 4 turns into a 2, and my final fraction after doing all of that is, there it is. Yep. So there's 2 answers all embedded in one, and just in case we want to see what those 2 answers look like, one of them is 3 halves plus square root of 3 over 2, and the other answer is 3 halves minus square root of 3 over 2. This is just a condensed way of saying these are the 2 answers. Those are the solutions. And that's all there is to these. So let's do one more just to solidify what we're doing. In this case, I'm going to make sure that we get an I that pops out of it because it sounds weird if you just took that out of context, but I want this complex number I to pop out of our complex, or out of our square root. So I'm going to have this hopefully be a negative if I did my work correct. All right, again, I have my A, B, and C, A, B, and C. So do your little sing-song in your head. X is equal to -4 plus or minus square root. Keep going, you got this. Yep, 16 minus. Yep, 4 times. Yep, 4 times 8 times -1. Oh, Mr. Sindel. Tisk, tisk. You led us astray. Change it to a +1. Haha, now we'll have a negative. Okay. So if I do all of that and I divide all of that by what? All over, nope, 2 times A, and A is 8. So 2 times 8, 16, there it is. Okay, let's go ahead and reduce this Teflon. So -4 times 8 is -32. Okay, or it's 32, and then 16 minus 32 is, yep, -16. So I have a -16 on the inside here. That's all going to be divided by 16, and this actually worked out better than I thought, as long as that is a positive one. So let's go ahead and reduce this yet again. Let's split up our fraction too. Let's get our left fraction and our right fraction. What's our left fraction going to be? Yep, and -4 over 16 reduces to what? negative. Yep, negative 1/4. Perfect. And then what do I write next? Close. So we have to do our plus or minus first. And then what is the square root of negative 16? For whenever you have a negative, something always pops out. You have a square root of negative 1 that gets factored out. Square root of negative 1 is, yeah, so 4i all over 16, and that simplifies one more time to negative 1/4 plus or minus I over 4. There it is. There's your final answer, and box it. And that's all there is to it. So you're going to be doing those over and over again on Khan Academy. They do go pretty quick as long as your mental math is quick. I don't think there are calculators allowed on this one because they expect you to be able to simplify square roots by now. All right, any questions, Teflon? All right, that's it. Go ahead and write your summaries.